board gaming, role-playing, wargaming. State of gaming right now, that's what I want to kind of ask the question, push out there, and connect with the meta, connect with you guys. So what's the future of gaming right now? And I'm exploring the idea, I should say gaming, we're going to limit it a little bit analog. You know, going out to the gaming club or the gaming group with your friends, rolling some dice, flipping some cards, playing some board games, things have been radically altered. Around where I am, I'm in New York. The gaming stores are closed. A few of them you can kind of get in touch with, negotiate, and pick up some supplies or some models, but everything is closed down. The gaming club closed down. And certainly friends and kind of satellite gaming groups that I play with or that I would normally play with were not doing anything. We've the social distancing and just staying put and not trying to add to the challenges that we find ourselves right now. So what that means is painting more stuff. I mean, that counts as gaming, looking at lists, figuring things out, acquiring models, building models. I mean, I'm sure like many of you out there, I won't name any names, but we're all guilty of this. We have, even if we're caught up on our armies and we're caught up on our various factions, there's always going to be some models that we haven't built yet or painted yet. I'm also trying to use this time to focus on some projects that I've been meaning to do, I want to do, but when things were more close to normal out there gaming and building and painting for the systems that I actively support. Pacific Rim is an example. Fantastic system, Pacific Rim Extinction. Love playing it. But the terrain, I needed to make some more terrain for it. So I've been working on that, slowly building up my terrain. I've been finishing some BattleTech terrain sets. I've been organizing some of my terrain and seeing what needs to be repainted or what could be added, improved on. Basically trying to position myself for two things. One, increase the gaming experience once we get back out there. And two, have a couple of new units. Have a couple of new models to spring as a surprise. When we get back out to the gaming and the hobby store. In terms of board games, what I think is happening, I mean, I've seen it speaking with friends of mine, playing titles that are either co-op or can be played co-op without any house rules. Right now, I'm making my way through Seventh Continent. I've been playing a ton of Dark Souls. I've been playing Pathfinder the Adventure card game, although that's not really hard to sell for me because I love playing Pathfinder the Adventure card game. I've got Zombicide Invader and Runebound ready to go. And all of these games, certainly you can play with a group, and there is a lot of enjoyment with that group, but they work really, really well solo. I've been holding off. It's been taunting me. I've been holding off on Black Fortress for a little bit. Warhammer Quest Black Fortress. Simply because what I find with Black Fortress, given that we have all of the expansions currently out there but two. All the expansions are out in the wild but two. I find Blackstone Fortress is the type of game that I want to set up and play for a couple of weeks at a time. I'm not saying to discover everything in the expansion or unlock all the secrets in the fortress, but much like Kingdom Death Monster, it's a game that you want to set up and play. I'm working my way through a couple of other titles. I think solo board gaming is going to pick up even more momentum than it has. I mean, that's what I see where things are going. And certainly solo board gaming, I would say for a number of years, it's not something that's kind of a subset of the hobby. It is a primary way to play. And we've seen this more and more games with Kickstarters where they support solo mode. You know, that's like a feature. A feature has to be tons of options, tons of replayability, some sort of massive campaign, and of course, solo mode. Role-playing, D&D, Alien the RPG. I've been writing a lot of Alien RPG stuff. I want to play it. I want to push it out there. I mean, I was getting ready to kind of play that, picking up the title a little while ago. I don't know if I'm going to do that online, remote versus tabletop, because literally I haven't played the system yet. And I find one of the things that I find with playing face-to-face tabletop, especially if it's a new role-playing system, the fact is that you can directly kind of get that biofeedback with your players, literally real time. So I can kind of get an idea if the game is heading in the right direction or what I'm trying to convey is being pushed out there. I think this is important when there's a new system because you have a new narrative, new mythology, you've got new rules, you've got a lot of pieces as a GM, as a game master that you have to juggle and facilitate and figure out. So I'm just going to keep writing some Alien RPG stuff. D&D, the D&D tabletop group, we stopped playing. We've been shut down. And certainly we could do the remote thing. We could play remote. But then that has me wondering, just for right now, do I open up I was going to say online. Do I open up a remote D&D game? Do we do like the play-by-post thing? I'm a little bit hesitant to use Zoom and other tech, not for like the data mining and just rife with privacy abuse that all these companies are doing, but simply because I'm spending 12 to 16 hours a day working remote, living on Zoom, living digitally. I need to disconnect. I don't know if I can add another aspect of that hobby-wise when I'm trying to physically disconnect from the digital web, from that digital experience. But I could see play-by-post. I could see maybe like a Facebook group or something to that effect. I also really want to do Invisible Sun. I think it's a fantastic system. It has a lot of unique features, which I enjoy, a lot of mythology to explore. I've posted up some Invisible Sun podcasts, vlogs, thoughts, ideas on my channel under the Invisible Sun playlist. This is a very kind of unique, narrative-driven, mythological magic world. I mean, it has a lot of elements that, as a GM, I'm really excited to explore. And we played a couple of starter games. We played a couple of games with the idea, let's just do like 3 or 4 sessions and see, because it is radically different from not only the player perspective, but the GM perspective. I wanted to kind of get that introduction. I'd like to explore that a little bit more. I think there's a lot of possibility, but that would have to be an online game too. So what I'm saying is I'm feeling it. I want to do something remote. I don't quite know what. So wargaming, working on some more miniatures, painting stuff up, positioning with the terrain and the secret weapons ready to launch, ready to get back to Battletech when we get there with a couple of new toys to explore and play out. Board gaming solo titles. Having a lot of fun. Would be having more fun if it was with my friends rolling dice, making certain decisions. But I think that hobby is pretty solid, and I see it really, really growing. I hope we get the final 2 installments for Blackstone Fortress soon. GW has opened up the web store. I think as soon as they start getting that pipeline going again, I'm excited for that. And RPGs, D&D, Invisible Sun, pushing those aspects out, but really just trying to find the medium. That's my meta. That's literally where I am right now. What are you guys exploring? Analog gaming, wargaming, RPGs, board games. What's the focus? What do you see? How are you adapting? And what titles are you enjoying or looking at? Because certainly I'm always open for suggestions.